How far are you willing to go? The drive, the sweats, the blood, the tears, your determination through the pain and all the suffering, people overlooking you, telling you that you're not good enough. You have to believe that you're great. And with you believing that you're great, anything you want to do, you can achieve. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Keep driving. Keep uplifting yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Nothing, and no one can stop you. That goal you want, you can achieve it. How you inspire people is going to be up to you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. Never.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And we here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without him, it would be no us to be able to come on this great platform and great people and great conversation. So first, I'm going to introduce, you know what I'm saying, my man down there on the bottom of the screen, Mr. Going to every football game. I'm starting to believe he got a scout now or something, secret scout. 'Cause every time you turn around, he on TV at a football game. You know what I'm saying? Like, fellas, I ain't gonna make it tonight. I'm at this. I think next week he gonna probably be with the president or something. I don't know what he gonna be. He might be with the Steelers. Maybe I don't know. He might show up at a Laker game or something. Who knows? But I got Coach Dorns in the building. What's going on, brother?
Hey, listen, man. So glad to be back on with you guys. Appreciate that kitchen pass last weekend while I was at the nation's capital supporting my godson. But again, just looking to ready to rock and roll with Coach Montgomery. Kind of hyped up a little bit tonight, Jacob the Great, because you know what? He walked on some hollow grounds like I did, but more to come on that. So again, just glad to be here.
Yeah. So next, I got my man right here, man. We've been rocking and rolling for this thing for about 6 years now. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of big stuff popping, and just hey, God has been blessing us with a lot of great opportunities. You know what I'm saying, over the last several years. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? So, his Cowboys beat the heck out my Washington team last week. We
Woo.
with the whole team on injured reserve. I think they was about to put the three of us out there, the four of us on the field last week. That's how bad it was. But I got my brother Jacob the Great, man. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, glad to be in the lane of the living, my brother.
Okay, what's up? What's up? So go ahead and introduce this man because he got an interesting like career. Very interesting. We were talking about before we came on here, but go ahead and introduce him, Jacob.
Man, we got none other than the great legendary coach Marcus Montgomery. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. Legendary is crazy. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we dive into all that you have accomplished, who is Coach Marcus Montgomery?
Um, I think it would be very, very agreeable to say I'm very passionate about the sport of wrestling. It's not necessarily just wrestling that I'm passionate about. Honestly, I like that I'm able to help build um, the kids that I work with every day. I love that I get to build their story, or help them build their story. Um, I think that passionate and um, passionate would be the word I would say. I'm a very passionate coach.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Coach Goins take the floor. Since y'all chopped it up a little bit before I got on here, have Eddie Coach Goins.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate that opportunity. It's not all the time that you get to talk to somebody that went to the same university as I did. So again, congratulations on going to one of the finest institutions. They may talk about Harvard and the Yales and all that other stuff, but UNC Pembroke has a special place. So tell us
Go
a little bit
Braves.
about yes, tell us a little about your time at UNC Pembroke and how you really got into wrestling.
Okay. So I'm from Irmo, South Carolina. I went to Dutch Fork. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that school. Big football school.
Yes, sir.
So I started wrestling on a whim. I got a little flyer when I was about 6 years old, and I told my dad I wanted to wrestle. We talked before the podcast started. I honestly thought it was WWE. My dad thought it was something like that too. He really wasn't interested in it. I bothered him for a whole year. I turned 7, got the same flyer. um, and he ended up letting me wrestle. And from 7 to 18, a lot of state champions. I was an individual state champion my senior year in 2017. I was 3-time All State, and I ended up being very, very, very blessed to get a scholarship to wrestle at UNCP Division II. Thank you, Othello Johnson. I don't know if he's going to see this, but OT, love you. But yeah, that's kind of my story of how I got into wrestling from high school moving forward.
Well, that's fantastic, and again, congratulations. So I see why Jacob the Great slid that legendary. When you all state and win the state championship, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, I want to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. As we were going down through the bio before we came on early tonight, we were talking about as we was reading the bio and it said girls wrestling. So go ahead and tell our audience, they may be as amazed as we are. So go ahead and tell us about the women on the mat.
Okay. So to tell our women's program story, I'll briefly start with the beginning of South Florence wrestling. This will be year 5. We started with men's wrestling in 2022, which is way behind everybody else. In that first year, we made the playoffs with the boys. Coach Maurice Camp was the head coach. He ended up coaching at St. Andrews. He got a college job. And I ended up assuming the head coaching job over, at that time, the men's program. That next year, there was just more buzz about women's wrestling because the state decided to try to slowly separate. It used to be just co-ed. So the state tried to slowly separate the guys from the girls. That first year was in 2020, 2022, 2023 of women's wrestling. I had the guys. We made the third round of playoffs. Did great. Had our first state runner-up that year, and we also in the first year of women's state championships, we had a state champion at 285 pounds. It was just a blessing to be able to have a kid come out there and be the first. She is the first. You can't take that away from her. She will always be in that history book as the first women's heavyweight champion in South Carolina. Very proud of her. She's in college now, doing great. So that was kind of our start to it. Now going into the years now, like 2024, going into 2025, 26, we have jumped from we had 4 girls to start. My girls program has 25 high school girls.
Wow.
And we just started middle school. Yeah, it's crazy. We just started middle school girls wrestling, and we'll probably have about 10 of them as well. I am very, very big on trying to build infrastructure because, again, wrestling has just been very, very behind in Florence just because we started only 4 years ago, now 5. So being able to have bodies, people that want to try it, want to give good effort, that's important. My philosophy is not necessarily, we always talk about with football, Jimmys and Joes, you got to have the best athletes, right? I do have very good female athletes, but I feel like you can make a team be more successful with the average kids that you have that understand their sport. So that's kind of my philosophy with that. If there's a kid that wants to try it, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to push you to try to be the best version of yourself as a person and as a wrestler.
Excellent. All right, there, Jacob. I see you. I see you ready, man. It seems like you got the mat rolled out over there. So go ahead and take it away.
What's interesting about Coach Montgomery with him being from Irmo, um, I think the whole state of South Carolina is kind of behind when you talk about Georgia, when you talk about Virginia and North Carolina. So it's interesting how you built this infrastructure in this program. So how did you prep yourself and what progression did you have to have to build this program and what resources helped you build the program?
So I would say our athletic director, Cody Slaughter, my family, my fiance, Janelle, those have been people that have very much supported me and helped me through the process. Now building more infrastructure. The real point is the time, the skin in the game, more time that we have kids to be able to do the sport of wrestling, the better the program gets. Also, the more that the kids care about the direction. For example, we live in the South. How many kids play football growing up? Thousands. Not so many kids grow up wrestling. We also have a youth program that I just started last year. So that's 5 to 12, and it's really just buy-in that we're looking for. Can the last part of your question? Can you re-ask that? I'm sorry.
What resources did you have? And with having those resources, what was what was the progression, the progress of gathering those resources?
Okay. So when you're talking about resources, um, I would say that our community here recently has been able to help us sponsor, because I mean you can't really do much without any money. Being able to send the kids to different tournaments. We've been to nationals in Virginia Beach. We go out of state every year for a tournament because, again, you talked about Georgia and North Carolina, Virginia. Those schools and high schools are way ahead of where we're at right now. So we utilize, our area and our means to be able to get our kids out there.
Okay. And so it's funny that you spoke of Coach Kemp. This was before Coach Goins on us, but myself and Icon E interviewed Coach Kemp out there at St. Andrews University,
Oh
and
wow.
he was talking about the wrestling program as well, and what I want to say about wrestling, we all grew up watching it, right? And but never just had the need to say, well, I want to try this, or if we did, we would say, I wish we had wrestling at our schools. And so, why do you think not enough schools in the South Carolina area have a wrestling program?
So wrestling's not the most expensive sport. I mean, obviously it adds up when you go to a bunch of tournaments and whatnot. But I would say that a lot of people don't understand. It's hard. It's very hard. I grew up playing football, grew up doing other sports, but I think that the deterrent is a lot of people kind of can't wrap their head around. I'm on the mat by myself against another person. And it's not necessarily the strongest person that wins, it's the person that has the most will. So it's a battle of wills and it's one on one. And that's a scary thing. A lot of kids and adults in the world that we live in now, they never have to have their fight or flight go off. So you're asking these kids between the ages of, because we're talking high school, 14 and 18, hey, I need you to learn how to control your emotions, wrestle in the confines of the sports, score points, and win matches. Most kids, if they haven't already done it and they haven't grown up doing it, that's a scary thing to do. So I think that is really the deterrent, that it's just like, it's a question mark. A lot of guys just don't really understand um, what the sport entails. I also think that the weight management part of it is a little bit
Mm.
hard if you're not getting the right information from the right people, or you're not trying to do it the right way. That's another deterrent. I just think that everybody should wrestle at least a year to understand themselves a little bit better, because it's a mental battle.
Okay. So, would you also say that the better wrestlers understand technique, and they also understand that wrestling a lot of times can be a thinking man's game or a thinking woman's game?
Yeah, correct. I don't think that the best athlete always wins state championships. I don't think that. I also don't think that the best technical wrestlers always win it. It's like a combination of a little bit of all of it. You got to understand the game. You have to have your body in probably the best cardiovascular conditioning that you can be in. But you got to be able to play chess with this stuff. It's not always just go. Sometimes you got to slow the pace, speed the pace up, kind of think ahead of what you think your opponent's going to do. So yeah.
Okay, okay. And so you as a coach, um, was you I know you studied the strength and conditioning when it comes to getting your wrestlers in shape, but as time progressed, was you just able to bring on a strength and conditioning person to really help you train their bodies?
So during the season, we do a lot of weightlifting. I would say that 90% of South Florence success when it comes to strength and conditioning comes from Sean Armstrong. He is our strength and conditioning coach. He's also this year coming on as our boys' head wrestling coach. Years before, like we talked before, I was kind of over both, and now we're able to split one because of numbers and two necessity. But yeah, I would say that Sean very much has helped in the weight room because he puts together fantastic plans. On my end, I very much value um, a kid being able to move their body. So pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups. Weight room is very important, but when you're wrestling, being able to move yourself and move people is important. So you got to have a big strong back. You got to have strong hands. Got to be able to put them up, lift them up, put them down. So yeah, that's kind of how we kill it. Two birds with one stone. A lot during the open season and preseason, we do a lot of weightlifting. During season, we do a lot of pull-ups, a lot of push-ups, a lot of things where we can get tired, get back on the mat instead of having to kind of really, really like kill ourselves in the weight room trying to get bigger, if that makes sense.
So so you would say that the calisthenics, the chin ups, the dips, and all that play a major part of really building that the inner strength of the back and really keeping the shoulders and the triceps and the biceps in shape.
100% in season, yes. Because a lot of kids are asked to sustain a certain weight class. When you lift weights, obviously, it's just like football. Those kids get bigger when you lift weights. You know, you eat more calories and all that. It's harder to maintain that weight, lifting very heavy weight more times than not. During probably about the middle part of the season, your kid's weight is starting to get lower to where you need it to be. But that strength, if you don't maintenance it with your pull-ups, push-ups, dips, they kind of taper off. So you want to make sure that you find a balance.
Okay, okay, well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Over to you, Iconi.
Okay. I'm about to act like Shaq real quick. Hold on, how y'all do 1, 2? It's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2 back to one. No, no. So, Coach, well, Wayne Montgomery said low revenue return is a major factor in the promotion of the sport. Also,
Correct.
so yeah, so that's what his comment was. So, but I was gonna say this too, and I don't know if Coach Montgomery, if you know this, but one of the greatest when you talked about how the best wrestlers not always the most athletic or whatever. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time in the state of North Carolina, and Coach Goins can attest to this, is Doc Kelly. So if you know who Doc Kelly is, and Jacob who Doc Kelly was a handicapped kid I went to school with. And he had a metal leg and one of his hands he only had basically a nub. But he was the best for probably about 3 years running into his high school career. He was the greatest wrestler on that level that you probably ever seen wrestle. I don't if he lost a match, he didn't lose many of them at
And
all.
he's also in the college wrestling hall of fame.
Exactly. So yeah. So definitely, I know he probably. I mean, he probably had some of that uncanny strength, being he was handicapped, and probably had one side of the body, whatever, stronger than the other, whatever it was. But yeah, it was an amazing thing to see if you ever watched him wrestle. So go ahead. You about to say
Well,
something, Coach?
I'm glad you said that because again, it's wrestling's always the great equalizer. Like it doesn't. You can be a short guy. You can be a chunky guy. You don't have to be the strongest person. Like it's always a great equalizer. You were talking about him having a nub. Anthony Robles was an
Mm-hmm.
NCAA national champion that only had one leg. He just recently had a movie that came out about it. So yeah, you 100% right. It's a great equalizer.
Yeah. So basically, when it comes to now, first of all, what was the pushback? Because men already like when I mean the mothers already kind of have pushback when their sons want to play football or certain sports that's real, basically like physical or whatever. So, what was the pushback from mothers with their daughters wanting to get out there and wrestle?
Okay. So I'd say that most times to start the program, it was really sold as self defense. Um, I have the resources to teach your daughter how to protect herself in the confines of a sport, um, which a lot of parents, like the idea of it. Now it is a harder sport, um, and most times it's harder to get the girls to come out. Now, I also coached track for a couple years. So what I started doing was the kids that I already dealt with, hey, why don't you just come and wrestle for me? So track, why don't you just come and wrestle for me? Work some basketball games. Hey, you got cut from basketball. Hey, come and wrestle for me. It slowly built itself up to where now um, the parents understand the goal of what we're trying to do here. It is a scary sport. South Florence in the first year of the sport's conception at the school had a very, very bad injury. So that's something that we deal with on a daily basis of parents being a little bit fearful of the sport. I do tell them this though.
Okay. Well, real quick, can you describe what the injury was when you say a real bad injury? What was the injury?
It was a neck injury.
Okay.
Yes. So that is something that as a program and as a head coach, I don't hide that information from parents. I do tell them that I do my best to make sure that your child is safe and understands the sport before they even wrestle in a live match. If I don't believe that your kid um, can do this sport efficiently, safely, and effectively, we'll keep practicing. So I think that very much has been able to help us get more kids on the mat and put more parents at ease with what we're doing.
Okay. So as far as when it comes to like the conditioning, weightlifting, the way you eat, is it different for the boys? Is there anything different between how you do it with the boys and how you do it with the girls when it comes to those type of things?
Yes. So I'd say the biggest thing is nutrition. A lot of my girls, I actually have them wrestle in a higher weight class than their body weight for two reasons. One, it's kind of by human design. If you wrestle and work with things that are heavier than you, you get stronger naturally. So that's kind of something that I do, as well as it's a little bit not harder, but it's a little bit different when it comes to weight management with the ladies. Sometimes you can just have a guy be 8 pounds over and they figure it out in 2 days. More than likely with your ladies, it's not going to work that way. So I would say that the way that we explain nutrition and how we do things 2 to 3 days outside of wrestling. So say we're going to wrestle on a Wednesday, the plan of how close we want to be and what we want to intake on a Monday is going to be different to a guy than a girl, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. So basically, so when it comes to so what I asked, the question I wanted to ask was this: is so when you have so what? How far does it stretch as far as how many teams that you can go against each season? And because it's such a newer when it comes to the females, I guess it can't be that many schools that's doing it yet. So how many schools are you actually wrestling against right now?
Okay, so we do have a very added benefit of being close to the North Carolina border. So every year we go to North Carolina, but South Carolina this year has more than 45 girls programs.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, it's
Mm.
it's grown. It
Wow.
has blown up in the last 3 years. Um, Now we in the lower state, we have probably a little bit less like full teams. So a full team would be more than 8 girls that span over at least 7 to 8 weight classes. We cover all 14 at South Florence. So we have a girl for every weight class. Plus, we have backups. Depth is very important. It's just like football. You're only as good as that your weakest link. Not necessarily your weakest link, but your weakest link.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get 16 dates. 16 dates. I make our schedule about 12. And some of it is, again, we get the added benefit of not being too far from the border. The two-time state champions in North Carolina are actually Hope County, and that's only an hour and 30 minutes away from us. Their coach was actually a graduate of UNCP as well. But we right. So we have a tournament at Purnell Sweat High School every year. That's about 5 to 10 minutes away from Pembroke. And that tournament has about 13 girls teams that show up, and we wrestle it out there. Plus, we host the lower state championship for girls at South Florence at the end of the year. So, yeah, there's enough dates. I mean, you gotta really work to make sure that the girls get what they need, because it's not as readily available as the guy stuff. But yeah, we definitely make do, and we've definitely been successful with making good schedules and getting good athletes.
Okay, I got one more question before I kick it back to Coach Goins. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to coaching on the wrestling on a wrestling level? What's one of your biggest challenges?
Time. Um, so time is always an issue. You can never have enough time to learn. I don't have enough in season time to teach. We don't have enough time to drill. And the only way to fix that is to get the kids wrestling younger. That way they have more time. Going back to when I said skin in the game, that's really the thing. That's the great equalizer. Like, I have kids. For example, I had a young lady last year. She made the state championship, 42-3 on the season.
Wow.
She wrestles in the state finals against a girl that was a freshman. Now she's a sophomore. This child from Lexington has been wrestling 10 years, right? So that doesn't necessarily say that she has a leg up, but she's been doing it longer. If you put it in terms of children, my child's been wrestling for 2 years, so she started her freshman year. I don't trust a 2-year-old to know the expectation. I do trust a 10-year-old to know the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the only real thing I think we're fighting is time. We have athletes, but it's going to catch up when my little kids that I have now, the little John Johns and the little Joeys that are wrestling in the youth program, once they get to that 10,000 sprawl and they get from my 5U program all the way up to freshman in high school, it'll be right. It's a long-term thing. I think we just have to fight time, and it's gonna do what we needed to do.
Okay, go ahead, Coach Goins. Jump back
All
in
right,
now.
so Coach Montgomery, so from what, correct me if I'm wrong. So your season is during basketball season, just like the guys.
Yes, it is. Same exact time.
All right, so let me ask you: do you think your numbers would possibly increase if it wasn't up against basketball season? Do you
It's a different.
and the reason why I say that, just because I know when I was in high school, we had wrestling during basketball season.
Mhm.
So you got two sports that where some of the athletes may say, man, basketball guy may want to do wrestling, versus taking the wrestling and moving it back, and so it maybe you're competing against softball, and then possibly the basketball team, you get possibly, I don't know. I'm just, when I'm hearing this and about numbers, and when you said that, if you got cut in basketball, come out from wrestling, and that sometimes I think it can fall, well, just like track and baseball. I
Right.
was not a track guy. I played baseball. And
Mhm.
you always had the simultaneous sports. And I was just wondering, do you think it would be beneficial if that sport was moved to the spring versus in the winter months?
So I think that wrestling is best in the winter. It doesn't necessarily hurt us too bad, just because a basketball team. I mean, what a huge basketball team is 16 kids, right? That's like
Right. Yep.
almost too much.
Too much. Yep.
Yeah, right. So, and I'm looking for a different type of athlete.
Okay.
A lot of my girls that wrestle for me are cheerleaders, soccer players. So Actually, yeah, in tennis. So that's the majority of my kids.
Okay.
So say we did move to the spring. My best wrestler, that young lady I was telling you that was a state runner-up last year, she actually plays soccer. So that would probably hurt us a little bit more. That's an interesting question. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just again, just rolling in my head, just like how they lined up. So here's my next question. So when Coach Montgomery's not on the mat, taping the mat, cleaning the mat, locking the gym, what do you do to get away from it all, to unwind, to put on some headphones like my man Jacob the Great, and just kind of like tune it out and tune it in?
Um, so I ain't gonna lie to you. That's definitely something that I've been trying to work and get better at myself because we're also students of life. So work life is something that I've been working with. A lot of what I do when I'm not on the mat uh, is time spent with Janelle Joyner, who is my fiance, um, and talking to Wayne Montgomery, who keeps commenting in this in the comment box. We love you, pops. But yeah, I love my family, love my fiance. That's pretty much where I spend most of my time outside of sports.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I know you said fiance. Just as a former coach myself, you always work that in and make sure that have time away. And a lot of times, I always use this analogy, just like a wildlife officer. When he's at work, he's either on the lake making sure boat safety's in there, checking, making sure that deer hunters and people with the fishing license. So how does that? We used to call them rabbit sheriffs. How does that rabbit sheriff able to unwind if he likes to hunt, he likes to fish, and he does it when he's at work? So just from an old
Right.
coach to a younger guy, make sure because when you say I do, you got to make sure that you getting that honeydew list done and making sure that you're taking care and touching all the bases. Because again, I mean, it's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time away from your family to build that program. So just again, so just make sure you taking care of yourself. And I know you will, but I just want to just toss that out. So I see. I look at Jacob, man. Jacob's ready to roll. Look at him. All right,
Hey,
Jacob. I'm
but
kick.
before Jacob,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jacob, before you jump back in, I just something that he just said that really throwing me off, and I'm trying to understand this. When you said the wrestlers come from tennis, and what else? You said cheerleading.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to picture in my mind because normally men wrestlers are thick kind of guys, look like linebackers.
Right.
So I'm trying to picture a tennis player because most other than Serena Williams, most tennis players ain't thick like that. So
Right.
I'm just trying to picture this. And cheerleaders are more especially high school cheerleaders. They're kind of skinny minis, built like models, most of them for the most part. So I'm just trying to picture that in my mind of seeing those type of athletes you said come from the female wrestling side. So I just threw me yeah, I just wanted to I was curious about that part.
Okay. So female wrestling starts from 100 pounds. So there's 14 weight classes. From 100 pounds, so you have to be under 100 pounds,
Wow.
all the way to 235. Right.
Yeah.
So that's where most of my lower weight classes are riddled with, just peppered with the cheerleaders. We also share the same. I'm glad you said that because this is a funny story. We share the same practice facility. We have a ox gym. Competitive cheer practices on the left hand side. We practice on the right hand side. And I'd attest this to the recruiting as well. When the boys were practicing, the girls would take a water break from competitive cheer and sit on the sideline, and they would watch, just see what we were doing. And that next year, I ended up with 9 of them on the team.
Wow.
Right. So I think it's also a testament to how we kind of do sports. The girls get to see it a lot. I also work at our freshman academy because we have 2 campuses. So it makes it very easy for me to be like, hey, you're a freshman in high school. It's a new beginning. Why don't you come and try wrestling and see what you like? So yeah, that's how we get the cheer girls. Tennis also, I mean, those kids move really good. I want kids with fast feet. If I can get an athlete, trust me, I will. But I really all we need is bodies. But yeah, that's how we do the whole cheer stuff. That's why my team is
Okay.
competitive cheer right now. Most of them.
Oh, go ahead, Jacob. Jacob, I just
Uh,
had to, I just had was curious. It was throwing me off. But go ahead.
so, so,
Yeah,
coach,
that
I'm glad you commented on this competitive cheer.
right.
For the gentleman on this show who's never went to a competitive cheer competition, always something to watch.
Oh yeah.
When I lived in Fort Lauderdale, competitive cheer is big at that. So I had a white buddy, and his niece was on a competitive cheer team, and so I'm looking at in the gymnasium, and I see about 1,000 mamas. You know what I mean? Like it's so huge, man. And people, I'm talking about. I was just listening to what they were saying. They was like, Mr. So and so donated $5,000. Mr. So and so donated $10,000. I'm like, they have more donations come in with this competitive cheer than anything. And so, and most of those competitive cheer kids, they was in dance on early on, and then by the time they got to 10, they started doing gymnastics competition. And
Right.
so, as far as the really limber kids that can stretch their muscles out during their youth, and for them wrestling, there are certain things that they'll be able to do on the mat that people who've never been inside that whole gymnastics arena will be able to do. And so it's great that you can get girls that participated in competitive cheer. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Me and a lot of other coaches that I'm very, very close with, there's a running joke that the best wrestlers are probably gymnasts. Um, they can move their body efficiently. You're very flexible. That also helps too. So yeah, the partnership, I'd say partnership, because I'm very close with the cheer coach and what they do in their program that we have, and me being able to have those young ladies help our program flourish. It's you can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Okay, okay. And so now this is another question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
With you opening up this world of wrestling, and you changed the narrative in 3 years, how has that changed on the scouts that you get at the matches, to come and see your girls and your guys wrestle, and how has that created collegiate NIL deals for wrestling athletes?
So college wrestling, female wrestling is the fastest growing sport in the NCAA. You can look that up.
Mm,
Fact check me on that. Um,
Wow.
mm.
but it is a a for lack of a better word, an industry that has really just been untapped just because no one asked these young ladies if they wanted to wrestle. Um,
Hmm.
so I'd say that I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 to 4 years they put the NCAA national championship for guys on ESPN. I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years if the NCAA championship for women is probably bigger. Um,
Wow.
Simply for the fact that women's wrestling at its highest level is extremely entertaining, and there's just more. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that the sport is different. The sport is very different. Um, so it's very exciting, uh, very nerve wracking to see these young ladies do what they do, but it's extremely impressive, and to me more entertaining than even some of the best guy bouts that I've seen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, coach, I appreciate it, man. It's been some phenomenal questions asked. You gave some phenomenal answers, and I might add this before I give it back to Icon on the closing. I might add that you have garnered them resources. Just throw lower the thumb at you. Being that your dad is an actor, he's taught you how to speak very well. So kudos to the pops for sure.
Appreciate that.
Well, let me read this. What Pops did say. He did say it takes a different kind of kid to wrestle. Many student athletes realize they may not want to commit to learning a new sport or such a sport that demands that type of sacrifice, basically. So, I can see that being a difficult thing to try to learn later in life, especially for females, where it's such a physical wrestling being such a physical thing to do. And if you're not committed to it early, it could be very demanding on your body, especially with women probably concerned about having kids later on and things happening in that nature. So I know mothers probably looking at that, like how's that going to affect that and those type of things too. But I'm gonna say this, and Jacob will know where I'm going when I say this. It may be some opportunity for this, Jacob. You know what where I'm coming from
Oh yeah.
with this
Oh
whole
yeah.
sponsorship thing. You know what I'm saying? Because when he said something very key. He said the fastest rising sport in America. And the thing about it is, even places like ESPN World, they're sometimes late to the party because if it doesn't have all if it's not the bells and whistles behind it, because look how late they on the party to women's basketball, WNBA. It
Right.
took
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark for them to show up to the party. That's why the whole controversy was last year with the women saying Stephen A. Smith, you should have stepped up to the plate long time ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have, all these great athletes they had in that sport, and it took, not to be funny, but it took this white girl,
So
American white girl, for them to finally step up to the plate. You know what I'm
so
saying? Put eyes
so
on it.
so I remember when they got on Stephen A. Smith, but I'm I'm like, let's work the balance out. Uh, a dominated male sport for that had people like Bob Cousy playing basketball and then going out Monday driving the tractor. You know what I mean? Um, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Coach Goins. I'm just saying. And then you got people like Mike, and you got people like Kareem, and then women's basketball came in so late, and so they really think Stephen A. Smith was going to defend that. It's not enough teams for them to defend. It ain't like it was 50 or 60 teams. It wasn't even a good 20 teams. And so I know he does commentary, but he don't get paid to defend them. So I feel like the marketing department of each WNBA team
Mhm.
and the commissioner, they dropped the ball on them girls. You know what I mean? They dropped the ball. Here
Yeah,
you are,
yeah. I mean,
professional.
I get what you were saying, but what I'm just saying from the standpoint of what Coach was talking about when he said it might be the biggest thing. Like in a few years, he'll see it on these things on ESPN. And I'm like, it sometimes it has to take an extraordinary story for them to even pay attention because they're so focused on other sports that. But that's why I said it may be some opportunity. But we gonna talk to Coach Montgomery offline about this because it may be
For
some
sure.
opportunity that what I'm saying that we're gonna talk. But
Uh,
anyway, Coach, I appreciate you coming on and
Absolutely.
giving us your time and just giving us your story because it's like I said, it's a special story that you got
It's
these young
phenomenal.
ladies buying in and coaching them up and being successful with it. So that's the biggest thing. Anytime you start something new and something different that nobody else is doing on the level that you're doing it at, it has to have some level of success for people to get engaged in it. So I commend you for that. And whatever we can do to help kind of plateau it more and put more eyeballs on it, you know what I'm saying? Just let us know we here. That's the whole point of this platform for us to be able to. And I'm gonna say this: we once a month we on CW 22, which covers Carolina, Virginia. I'm gonna make sure that the next month's episode, this episode will air on that platform, so you can definitely get more eyeballs when it comes out. You know what I'm
that's
saying? I'm
fantastic.
yeah. So I'm gonna make you that promise right
And
now. You know what I'm saying?
and we'll and we'll also make sure our own Fox Augusta 54 as well.
Yes, exactly. So this is a
Yes,
story that
sir.
needs to be told. You know
I,
what I mean?
I really appreciate you guys. This is I've never done a podcast before, and it's really special to me that we got to talk about this because again, Something I'm very passionate about. Our ladies
Hold up,
work
coach.
very hard.
Hold up, coach. Hold up, coach.
Yes.
So you mean to tell me there's no podcast about high school wrestling at all?
No, there's not. Not in South Carolina, at least from my knowledge. There's
See,
not.
see, 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 it's so much opportunity here, Coach. I'm
Hey
telling you.
man,
All right.
I'm
we will
Hey,
telling you.
talk.
Yeah, this is so much opportunity here. I'm telling you. We gonna talk because it's so much
And
opportunity here.
and I can't be just before he get out of here. I want you to give Mr. Montgomery a message. Your dad, tell your dad to hit me up because I want him on 95 South TV, and so we can discuss live auditions versus table readings from an actress perspective. Yes.
oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but Coach, I appreciate you coming on, giving us your time. If anything, any jewels you want to drop or any information you want to drop about your program, yeah, free. It's your floor.
Two things. I wanna plug our Den Youth Wrestling program, ages 5 to 12. We do have a youth program. We are the only youth program in Florence County right now. It is youth wrestling for less than $100. Okay, you can't beat that anywhere. You can't beat that for any youth sport for the whole year. It's $100, and your kid gets to wrestle from December all the way to March if you would like to. So please, if anyone from our area is from my area is watching this, um, go to southflorencewrestling.com. We do have a website that we just put up. Actually, I think it's maybe 3 weeks old. Southflorencewrestling.com. I have all that information, our high school stuff, our bio, our mission statement, all that stuff is on there. And I would also like to plug my girls wrestling team this year, putting it in the air, putting it in God's hands, but putting it in the air, that we make those state dual finals. Um, we finished fourth in the state last year, and I just think that we got enough juice this year and we got enough star power to make it all the way. So yeah.
Yeah, well, like I
And,
said, I
and,
appreciate you
and,
coming on.
and,
Go ahead, go
and
Jacob.
I come before you close out. A special thanks to our brother Randy Page for definitely plugging us in with Coach Montgomery. Randy has plugged us with so many coaches like yourself, Hall of Fame coaches, because he always tell me is a need to have these guys' story because they don't get enough coverage, and so he always hit me up probably about every Tuesday. You got somebody booked. If you don't, I got somebody for you. So special thanks to him, man. I appreciate it.
Yes,
All I'm
sir.
gonna say is,
Absolutely.
God brought you to us for a reason. Because funny, I was just having a conversation with our CEO of the label about certain things, and what you was talking about is a lot of opportunity in what you're doing that's not being tapped into to
Right.
get your platform and get your program where it needs to be. Not just the program, but the whole entire movement of female wrestling. When you talked about the youth program, all of that. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna talk. But I appreciate you coming on tonight, giving us your time, Coach. And like I said, if there's anything we can do to help, you know what I'm saying. But we will be talking to you. But I wish you all the best, and you know what I'm saying. Hope at the end of this season you can send us a photo of that state championship or some kind of big trophy in your hand.
Oh,
Yes,
100%. Yes, sir. I really appreciate y'all's time.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
peace and blessings.